Hello, dear all. Thank you very much for this opportunity to present our project, which calls Newborn Forest Park to restore Kazakhstan's rivers. I represent several organizations, including Center for Sustainable Development, OCHAC, Kazakh British Technical University, and Design Institute named after Janikenov. Please review these websites. Please review this website also. So this website presents our current project, what we are doing, and these are my contacts. So the main idea, what we are working on this issue on the continents and glaciers, ocean issues. Continents are drying up, and sea level, ocean level is rising. And we are working on a nature-based solution, how to collect, how to deposit more water on the continent. So less water should go to the ocean and more water should stay on the continents. And we are working on the nature-based solution. So you may see this strategy, which calls biotic domes or biotic pumps. So if we plant endemic trees on the continents, localized trees, and dedicate these trees to the rivers restoration. So in this case, we may collect and store more water on the continent. So this is the main idea what we are working on. Of course, it's a huge project, very ambitious for for hundreds of years, but step by step. Today I will present just small part what we are developing. So these initiatives are dedicated and directed by our president, Kasım-Jomart Kemerievich Tokayev, who is proposed to strengthen United Nations program with Kazakhstan coordinating of some of these programs. And we hope that our project, our initiative could be part of this United Nations activities. It could be part of UNDP programs, and hopefully could be included in United Nations UNIVEC in TED, Technical Vocational Educational Training Program. So we're preparing for these activities, and eventually, hopefully, many people may visit Kazakhstan and see what we are doing in Kazakhstan. So this is a issue what we are working on. This is our main idea. So continents are drying up and sea and ocean level are rising. So this is initiative. And if we develop some small project in Kazakhstan and if we store more waters on continents here, and eventually, hopefully, less water will go to the ocean, and hopefully, eventually, in the future, we may work on the mitigation of ocean sea level rise. So it's a big, very, very ambitious activities, but we are working on very small part. And a small part of this activities is related to this issue. With climate change, we are having more floods and droughts. So extremes of floods are getting very tough during the some very short time. Could be very, very big flash floods, and could be on several days, could be droughts. So this is extremes. With climate change, we have these huge extremes. And also we have huge erosions. You may see this situation, and we have floods, droughts, deserts. In Kazakhstan, Central Asia, this situation is expanding. And we have to work on this issue somehow. And another issue what we're facing in Kazakhstan, how we deal with these problems. Currently, the main strategy in Kazakhstan to build big dams, some use many engineering work and block rivers. So, for example, here we have some rivers, like small rivers, like Koksu River, and in Kazakhstan, I don't know, we're addicted and try to build many engineering dams, reservoirs, and we are building very condensed cities. Kazakhstan is a big country, and it will be rational to just to investigate and to develop more nature-based solution. And in Kazakhstan, we are targeted to use mostly engineering activities and some engineering efforts to control meteorology, to have some precipitation, use some airplanes and so on. So it's not easy. It's quite expensive, but they create a lot of problems. And we are offering to be more nature-based solution. So somehow that's why we need international support. That's why we are preparing this application. We need some support from the international organization to support our nature-based solution. We need to convince our government to work more on nature-based solution. Currently in Kazakhstan, we have the situation of new Kazakhstan and old Kazakhstan, and old Kazakhstan is based mostly on industrial activities, extracting, and more just controlling nature, all this stuff. Yeah, and this efforts in nature-based solution is quite new, and it's quite innovative for Kazakhstan, and we're trying just to convince to do all this stuff, and it's coming, and we need more efforts, more support to expand it. This is the main idea, to have more private houses, and people should be involved more actively themselves in planting these trees and look after these trees as a family. So this is the main idea, what we are targeted to convince. Currently, only a few companies involved in planting on trees, and just big organizations and involved on these activities. And when we targeted to fix something here, for example, if we have the situation, currently our main strategy in Kazakhstan by our government to build canals, to put here beton, asphalt, to use engineering to clean, use bulldozer, clean up and make it straight, and supply some water. This is the main strategy in Kazakhstan. So, but we are suggesting do not do it and use more nature-based system. You see these 5-year programs. If we plant trees properly, so trees may work as a biotic pump, and trees may restore these rivers where it's dying and shrinking. If we use properly local endemic trees and local bushes, it may restore, and water may come back. So this strategy is used in Slovakia by Michael Kravchik. We were in Slovakia, we learned how they do it, and we are adapting this strategy now. So you may see if we, we have these difficulties, if we don't have water, if we have these small facilities and use soil as sponges, soil may collect this water, and water may come back. You see this in 10 years, water come back, and so it's like a natural system. So this is strategy, and that's why we're adapting it, and we created this logo, which calls a nature-based yurt. So it will be like related to our activities. So hopefully we'll convince our people to use more this nature-based solution, and to improve soil in Kazakhstan, and eventually we will restore our soil, and we may have a more sustainable system. So this is a strategy. So we are trying to convince to have more small water cycle. Currently we're using more big water cycle, and our meteorology agency, Kazhydromet, they investigate mostly big, huge water cycle, which is more than 3 months, and we're suggesting to use more small water cycle and investigate what's going on small areas in the cycle of 8 years, 8 days, 8 days. So 8 days is related to this evapotranspiration of the trees and this small circulation. So we don't have this type of strategy to expand, to use, and to investigate small water cycle systems. So we're trying to convince and do all these activities more. So this is what we're trying to expand. And another issue what we are facing, we don't collect the snow properly. So you may check this link. We had this project in cooperation with Germany, with Innovas Group. We try to convince Astana City to use this approach to collect more snow and collect more flood water, and to use managed aquifer recharge system in Kazakhstan, and to have dedicated area where snow should be collected and snow will be melted, and reused. We don't have this system, unfortunately, in Kazakhstan. So it was very difficult to convince Astana city to expand it. And problem of our city is that they're very condensed and they don't have space to collect all this snow nearby and inside of the city. They dump everything without proper use of this water and snow. And another big problem what we are facing in Kazakhstan, we have pollution. So everything from the roads and from the farmland, all this chemical pollution and all these dams are moving to the rivers, and all these rivers get polluted and fish get sick, and people may get sick by eating all this fish. So we're trying to convince that all chemicals and nitrate, phosphate, what produced by farmers and should be collected and stay on the farmland. It should be a natural filtration system. So if we set up this type of facilities and water maybe have this natural filtration and water move step by step on the river by natural filtration. And also it's good for farmers. They may reuse all this nitrate and phosphate again. So this is efforts what we are trying to convince. And this current project, as I mentioned, we tried to develop this type of project for the big cities, but it was very difficult. We couldn't convince because big companies, I think they have bigger interest to build mostly big buildings, and space are very expensive in cities. And it was complicated to expand our project on the big cities. So that's why we're working more now on farmland and small village areas, and we have more opportunities to expand in rural areas of Kazakhstan. So please check all these links, and we are expanding this strategy to set up forest shelter belts activities and set up this retention pond on the rural areas. So this example what we have, so this type of facilities to have more trees and to have retention pond, and this pond collects snow and rain water, and this water can be reused again by using pumping system. So this is our approach what we are trying to convince. So this is the main idea, that trees are rainmakers. So if we plant and grow trees properly, local endemic trees, and if we grow these trees properly, at least during the 5 years, so you see this 5 years program at least, and trees will get big, and trees may get water themselves through evapotranspiration, and trees create this aura, which may work like cation, anion. So these trees may attract clouds, attract precipitation, so it will be like local circulation. It's something like in oasis. In the deserts where you have some water, usually you have trees on the desert area in the oasis. So it's the same idea. So we have to expand and to have more trees in Kazakhstan. So this is the main methodology, what we are trying to work, to use more trees and expand this strategy. And to convince people to do all this stuff, it's not easy. So that's why we are trying to adapt this approach. We learn how Canada uses Birthplace Forest Park, and they have gift cards. They give gift cards to the people, and they have this tradition to give gift cards to the moms and during the birth time. And in Kazakhstan, we don't have this tradition. Usually we have a big event, a big party, and big celebration, but we don't have this type of tradition as it works in Canada. It works in Bhutan, by the way, in Mongolia. They have this tradition, and we're hoping to convince to have this type of tradition in Kazakhstan. So why it will be very important to set up this type of strategy in Kazakhstan? Because we have unauthorized garbage dump areas. So this is nearby rivers. You may see. So people dump a lot of stuff nearby rivers. So we have to expand and to have this tradition that people should concern about river sites and And if we set up birthplace parks, and it's a natural human instinct to look after their children and to keep their facilities clean for their children. And we hope if we set up more this type of parks, people will dump less, and it will be cleaner, clean area along the riverside. So this is the main idea what we are working on. So currently we have this polygon facility nearby this Mukanshi River and Koksu College. We have this Mukanshi River, small river, and we are setting up our project here, and we are trying to expand it. So this is the current situation in this river, Mukanshi River. So you may see this Mukanshi village here. So please check this link. This is our Center for Sustainable Development. It's located here. And this is, so it's not so far from this area. It's about 20 kilometers, and it's the next village. And we targeted to clean this area. So this river is fed by sprinkle water, and we want to clean it and to plant trees because we have a lot of dump site and unauthorized garbage areas. And we hope if we set up here more newborn babies parks, and more people will concern about this area. And if we have this retention pond from the farmers' land, and farmers will not release chemicals, pesticide, and nitrate phosphate to this river would be clean. Yeah, this is a target what we are working on. And we are hoping to adapt this gift card system, so people will have this tradition to present a gift card with a tree, and this tree could be planted in the dedicated areas along riverside, so it could be Birthplace Forest Park. And it will be some kind of tradition, and hopefully eventually this river will be clean, and this is our target. And so it's not easy to develop. That's why we need some international support to set up it and expand these activities. And eventually, we hope this area would be like this. More trees will be growing along this Mukanshi River. This river is dying now, is drying up. So if we plant trees, hopefully we will restore this river. And here, by the way, we have Balkash Lake. So we already killed Aral Lake, and Caspian Lake is dying. And we're concerned about Balkash Lake. And hopefully by doing all these activities, we will save Balkash Lake also. So this is our main target. We're well set up in Mukanshi River in this village area, but at the same time we're still thinking to improve situation in our cities, because our cities are very polluted. For example, Almaty city, and we try to convince to have parks in the Almaty city, but it's very condensed. It's very difficult to convince. And Almaty city has about 7 big hospitals, maternity hospitals, and it's very stressful. For example, this one of this hospital, it's very difficult for women to give birth, and it's very stressful, very polluted. You see this big road, so it's very condensed. So I don't know. We will try to convince this city to have create some space, and to set up something like this, to have some parks. We will try, yeah, but it could be very difficult. And we are hoping to show our facilities in Mukanshi. If we convince Almaty city to do it, it will be good. If not, we will continue our promotional activities, our TVET program, invite and show our Ochak facility, and hopefully eventually in some time, maybe Almaty city will be convinced and to develop something similar, to have some dedicated space for the hospitals. And next, we are also currently I'm in Usk-Kamenogorsk. So Usk-Kamenogorsk is a very polluted city. Ecology is very bad. And so it's very difficult to convince here this local government to use same strategy. This Irtysh River is polluted. And so we have to clean this Irtysh River and hopefully to set up something similar. This is a very big river. it could be very difficult to set up something. Yeah, but at least I hope we will set up something very small in Uсть-Каменогорск, and hopefully we will expand this project for this city and Uсть-Каменогорск area too. Currently, you may see what's going on in this city, and I don't know, this is construction of the. It's currently, you see, just of June 27, I visited and I saw all this stuff. You may see this Irtysh River, and the buildings nearby this river. So you see, this is flood zones. It's very difficult. Why they give permission to build houses nearby the river? This is flood zone, and water level is very low here in Irtysh River, and in springtime water level will be high, and potentially it will be flooded. So it's very difficult to understand. And also here we have some roads, and all pollution from the road is moving to the Irtysh River. So it will be reasonable to have some area, some forest, and some plants. So it will be natural filtration, natural cleaning from the roads. But unfortunately, all this pollution are moving to the Irtysh River. So again, it will be very difficult to convince to do all this stuff, and hopefully, eventually in the future, I don't know, in 5, 10, and 20 years, maybe this area would be something like this, and more trees will be planted here. And we hope to set up some small pilot area here too, to plant some trees here. But it could be difficult. But anyway, we have a backup plan. We'll continue to work on our Mukanshi River if we get difficulties to convince to set up some small facility here. So this is our next target. And eventually, what we targeted to do, this is our target. So if we have this type of facilities, each city, each village should plant more trees. It's, you see this idea that trees are rainmakers, and you may see these small yellow balls. It's like cation, anion, and when we have more trees, all these trees and forests, they attract clouds, and it's something like cation, anion, and it would be good, yeah, for sustainable development. And along the rivers, if we plant these trees also, so it will be more sustainable strategy. So this is our strategy. Of course, it will take long time, but hopefully eventually people will use this approach. So this is typical situation in Kazakhstan, what we have in the cities. And cities, we're trying to put everything in beton, asphalt, and rivers, everything, just both sides of the rivers usually put in beton, in Almaty, in Astana. And we don't have this natural system. You see this natural system. We don't plant trees along the rivers. This is the issue. And we're trying to convince that we have to plant trees along the riverside, on left side, right side, like this, you see. And in Kazakhstan, we usually cut these trees and with bulldozers, and we put everything in cement and beton, and just lock this tree. This is typical strategy how Kazakhstan work on the riverside. So this natural system is not used in Kazakhstan. So we are targeted to convince. So let's use this strategy, this approach more in Kazakhstan. And eventually, if we convince to use this approach, and it would be this general approach in the future, what we targeted to convince, and we're trying to convince plant these trees nearby riverside and in the area where we have clouds, and in the area of potential precipitation, because clouds are moving. And in this area, if we plant on the transboundary areas of Kazakhstan, you may see we have these rivers and clouds actually moving in this way. And it will be rational to plant more trees, and in the areas where we have recent fires, forestry fires, so it will be reasonable to restore and move from this side. And here we have Ural River, and we have from this side. If we move in this direction, it will be some kind of rational system. Currently, Kazakhstan is trying to restore this Aral Lake, but it's very difficult to restore it because it's very difficult to get water here. And Kazakhstan is trying to get underground water. But if we get get underground water, it should be complicated to keep balance of the surface and underground water. So it will be rational to move in this way from the side. And eventually, if we plant trees and move to the center, it will be more rational system, and trees may get more clouds, more precipitation could be side, and eventually situation in Kazakhstan would be improved. So this is our strategy, what we're trying to convince. And we hope to expand this strategy to the rest of the world, and we can use our CHAC facilities to provide this TWET training program. And we have also here water geomatics training to use geodesy, how to work on the topography, and how to work with local trees, use endemic seeds. So this is our strategy. And with expansion of this newborn forest park to restore Kazakhstan rivers by using gift cards, hopefully this strategy would be used in many countries. And this is our approach. Thank you very much.